I am Tisha, your reader. Dwayne, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I had a complaint last time that I didn't say anything funny.
Sometimes when you say things funny, they go off to the side, so speaking.
So I'm speaking into the mic to be funny for Dwayne. I've written a joke. Are you ready? I just wrote it. What did the doubtful blind man always, why did the doubtful blind man always carry a map wherever he went?
Why?
Because, though he wasn't sure, he might just bump into a community of people who would help him read it.
That's hilarious.
Hilarious. But it's not that funny because it's about what we're doing today. So the theme for 2026 is open at the top. The theme for May, divine doubt. Today's topic, communal uncertainty. The great mystic and civil rights leader Howard Thurman wrote about the inescapable pull of the need for human connection. Same thing, inescapable, escapable, we're all kind of confused. No, inescapable. Human connection for spiritual community. In his book, Disciples of the Spirit, he emphasizes the moving finger of God in human history points ever in the same direction. There must be community. Always in the collective conscience and in the private will, this intent appears and reappears. When the hunger in a person's heart merges with what seems to be the fundamental intent of life, communion with God, the creator of life, is not only possible, but urgent. Minister, therapist, community advocate Wayne Mueller also wrote about the value of spiritual community. He said, "We are called to be strong companions and clear mirrors to one another, to seek those who reflect with compassion and a keen eye how we're doing. We need the nourishing company of others to create the circle needed for growth, freedom, and healing. And together, we can affirm, I recognize my doubt as holy and productive." Thank you, and we'll welcome Reverend Kathleen Johnson, who probably also has a joke.
I used up my doubt joke last week. All right, so you may be wondering, why all this focus on doubt over and over and over again each week? Well, let's begin with the ultimate truth, is that there is a perfect wholeness that is the divine, and humanity is forever bound together in and as that one. And I think I'm going to need some water. I brought a water bottle with me, but I left it in the car. Thank you, Marcia. So our joys, our hopes, our fears, and yes, our doubts are our shared experiences. I think I better wait and breathe. Let's just all breathe together. Thank you, Marcia. Appreciate it. So this divine connection, this is very interesting, because I did not have this going on. So what's going on here? So as we stand in the wholeness of who we are, and who we are not only collectively, but the truth of the Spirit. Thank you very much. look at all, this is community, right? Thank you so much. Thank you, Deb. Is this your secret of why your voice is always so clear? So, again, as community, the beauty of it, you heard the directive of Howard Thurman. There must be community. And why? Because not only are we bound together in and as the one, but we offer one another a very important ingredient. Love. Love in the form of compassion and understanding and providing Ricola. What is this? Ricola, citramel, whatever it is. Throat lozenges and water. We have this beautiful network of community that allows us to navigate through life with a little more grace and a little more ease. And yes, there are doubts. We're no longer saying that, I just have perfect faith here and now. I mean, yes, we can declare it, but also we have learned that when you continue to push down the doubts and the fears and the worries and that kind of thing and don't bring them into the light, that they can run your life in a way that you really would rather not happen. So we have learned, we as a movement have learned the importance of taking the time and noticing where our doubts and our fears are and bringing them to light. And it really helps to bring them to the light with another person who has the heart to hold you while you work through it. And then come back into a center, an awareness of the ultimate reality, the spiritual truth, in a deeper and more meaningful fashion for you. Each one of us are on our own unique journeys, and yet we share some common values and purpose and spiritual teachings, which I am so totally invested in it, if you haven't already noticed, because it's transformed my life. So, as we share our uncertainty, let us know that they're not only our own. We're part of a collective, unconscious, or what Ernest Holmes called race consciousness. He meant human race consciousness. And so when we're brave enough to say, I'm struggling with the spiritual truth when I look out and see what's going on in our world. Believe me, you're not the only one that's thinking that. And yet when we bring it to the light, it not only helps to bring us to a greater awareness of things that we can do in consciousness and action, but it also gives the person next to you permission to share what's going on for them. So there's also another value to this thing called doubt that we've been talking about, and that when we voice that, there's something that happens if we decide to be curious about it. All right, so I have this doubt. I wonder what's really true. I wonder if there's a way that another perspective, another way I can look at it that will help me stay more in alignment with who I am in truth. So doubt can lead to curiosity and wonder, which can then have the result of dissolving the doubt and moving us into creative solution. And also having a fresh, living experience of the divine in our lives in action. Mark Nepo has an absolutely stunning metaphor for this that he calls the wheel of connection. So he says, imagine that each of us is a spoke in an infinite wheel. No two spokes are the same. The rim of the wheel is our living sense of community. So, you know how the rim connects all the spokes. The hub, where all the spokes join, is the one center where all souls meet. So that hub in the center. That wholeness, that moment of unity is God. So let's experience that. Let's tap into that idea of that hub, that wholeness, that unity that we call God. I invite you to close your eyes if you're comfortable, or keep your eyes slightly open and gaze toward the floor. And settle in, both feet flat on the floor to help you ground. And take a deep, slow breath. In and out. Relaxing completely into the chair. And bring one, again, you're coming from your divine self and you're gazing upon these things that arise into your awareness. So just notice if there is a doubt or an uncertainty or question that's rising into your awareness. Notice it. Is it a doubt about your personal self? About a relationship? About the state of our world? About our environment or our politics? Notice it. Notice where it sits in your body. This is a beautiful opportunity to see how this operates, this thing called doubt. A tightness in your chest, or a flutter in your stomach, or a heaviness in your shoulders. Where is it located? And breathe into it without trying to fix it. Let it be holy. Let it be used for a greater good. Keeping your eyes closed, become aware of everyone around you and people streaming online as well, the greater community. Realize that you are not the only one holding an uncertainty today. The person to your left is carrying uncertainty. The person to your right is also. Imagine golden threads traveling from your heart, connected to the hearts of everyone in this spiritual community. Golden threads traveling through your heart, connecting to all hearts in the entire spiritual community. Our shared human experience, yes, even our shared experience of doubt, can now rest in the safety net of divine love. You do not have to resolve your doubt alone to be worthy of this circle. You are embraced exactly as you are. Take one more deep breath. Feeling the relief of not needing to have all the answers. When you are ready, open your eyes and return to the room. So, when we lean into shared uncertainty, shared doubt, with open hearts, and the sense of love for one another. That deep felt sense, that deep sense of the presence of the Spirit where we are operating through that. Amazing things happen. Amazing things happen. Doubt transforms from fear into curiosity. I'm curious. I'm curious. And then also, if there's some condition that you're dealing with, it can also spark a sense of urgency. Well, what is mine to do? What is mine to do? So as a member of the Center for Spiritual Living, actually Centers for Spiritual Living, we have a shared global vision, which is a world that works for everyone. And yet, I get it. When we look out at what's going on in the world, we're like, is this even possible? This sounds like a really huge dream. Is this possible? And so if we sit with that awareness that there is maybe this resistance, like, oh, can that possibly happen? Is that we then consider that maybe that doubt, if we understand it as part of our journey, how is it for us? How is this doubt for me? Then it can spark us into, let's say, spark our imagination and maybe help motivate us to take our part in transforming whatever is not looking like a world that works for everyone, in ourselves and all around us. So here's some examples. Doubting that whether we can avoid the environmental crisis. If we allow ourselves to bring that to spirit, bring that into the light, then it could spark maybe some innovation that we can bring forward. And I know there have been lots of innovations, of amazing innovations, and a lot of young people involved in these innovations that can help our environment, and the big time things. Doubt about humanity's ability to overcome division. Well, it can ignite, and I think Deb brought this up last week, it can ignite conversations, communication, new ways of collaboration. Deb, were you the one who was talking about the family that where the mother and the father and the children had different political positions, and they have a podcast and they have communication about their differences? Necessary conversations, yeah. So that's what can happen when we address our doubt and we also bring it to spirit. It's not just hanging out in the doubt, but bring it to spirit, bring it to the light, bring it to community and have conversations about it. Amazing creativity happens because we're opening our hearts and our minds to possibility. What are the possibilities here? One of the things we don't want to do, though, is what we call blind faith or blind optimism, which is basically saying, or it's kind of a passive thing that says, you know what, God's going to fix it so I don't have to do anything about it. So that's one of the challenges of people who just say, you know what, God's going to handle it, so I'll just go about my business and do what I'm going to do. Ernest Holmes says very clearly that the Spirit of God works through us. Oh, here it is. He says, infinite and immutable as the law is, the universal law of the divine, it must flow through us in order to manifest for us. Spirit needs a vehicle. We are the vehicle of Spirit. We are the Spirit.
It comes through us, but it also comes to us in ways we don't expect.
Yeah, but through us. The idea is that the inspiration flows through us and moves us into action. So that's the whole idea. All right, so we are the vehicle. What is the fuel? I really contemplated this. It's contrast. Dean and I were having a conversation about this, when we were praying this morning, that the way that this is all designed is that there is contrast that ignites new desires. Abraham Hicks calls it rockets of desire that spur on new creation. So if we can look at that, we can stay in a place of, how is this for me? How can I use this for the greater good? So that's why this whole thing about entertaining our doubts and our uncertainties, which sounds like, why do we want to do that? We want to deepen our faith. Well, that's part of the path of deepening our faith. Studying spiritual principles, but also being willing to look at what our doubts and our fears are. So this reminds me of a story, actually, of a father who brought two sons, aged 5 and 9, to serve a community of people who lived in tents. It was Tent City on Mercer Island in Washington State. And what happened was a lot of questions. The 5-year-old and the 9-year-old were like, well, why don't these people have homes? And why can't they just go out and buy their own food? Things like that. Which gave him an opportunity to share some of the challenges that these folks were going through. Tough life situations. And also the importance of a social safety net. A safety net of love that's provided by people who do have the ways and the means to provide time, talent, and resources. So it was a beautiful education for these two boys. And so the thing that they also noticed, this family noticed, is that despite all of the hardships, there was this community that these people had formed with each other. And they were profoundly grateful for the food. And they were delighted. There were children there as well. So after dinner, the father happened to notice that his 9-year-old was holding court with several of the elderly gentlemen who were watching a small TV, watching sports, having conversations, and how engaged his 9-year-old son was with these men. Listening, sharing in stories, asking questions. And then the beautiful thing that happened after that point was when the men got up to leave and go back to their tents, the little boy said, "Thanks for coming to dinner with us," with a sweet, sincere voice, to which there was not a dry eye in the house. The men were crying, the father was crying, and the son, I think, got a little extra hug on the way home for his kindness, shared dignity, shared sense of community. So that's the kind of thing that can happen when there is some uncertainty related to community, is that something really beautiful can be birthed out of it. When we ask the questions, the kids were asked the questions, the father answered them the best that they could, but then that experience of connection, that experience of love and shared stories, brought these children to a new awareness of their connection with a larger circle than just their family and friends, a community of humanity. Beautiful. Thich Nhat Hanh taught the value of Sangha, which he defined as a community of spiritual practice, study, and shared strength. And he wrote, "Taking refuge in Sangha is a deep spiritual practice. You become the Sangha. You become the Sangha. If you are a drop of water, you might wonder whether you have the capacity to go to the ocean. But when you become a river of Sangha, you will certainly come to the ocean. He said, there's no doubt. In Sangha, the river of Sangha, you will certainly come to the ocean. So a vital part of the river of CSL, or as a vital part of the river, each one of us, of Center for Spiritual Living Delaware, your doubt becomes absorbed in a larger purpose, a shared purpose. And I think you probably know where I'm going with this. Because we do have an opportunity as community to join deeply into this idea of shared purpose with what's coming up in this next several weeks, when Reverend Susie comes and supports us in this process of a collective set, not only of values, but a collective vision of where we're going in the future. Up until now, a small group of our community has been doing the visioning. Originally, it was our founders, and then it's been a visioning core that meets monthly. The visioning core is now on hiatus because what we're doing is we're giving this beautiful opportunity to every single one of you. And I am trusting, I'm asking you to put this on your calendar. I'm asking you to participate when Reverend Susie comes on the 13th, Saturday the 13th. She'll be in the Orange Room with us. I mean, you can read it in the newsletter if you want the details, and then Sunday she'll be here with us and another visioning after service. What we do is a series of visionings and collate the results. And the more of you that participate, the more of, it's kind of like a graphic or a graphic where there are all these different pixels, and each one of you are pixels in the bigger picture of where we're going as community. So I'm very excited about this process, and I'm hoping I'm relaying it to all of you how what an awesome opportunity this is. So let's just anchor all of this in prayer, if we would. So there is one and only one presence, one life, one power. This presence is all-encompassing, omnipresence. So that means each and every soul in this room and online that we call the Center for Spiritual Living Delaware community is an expression, an extension, an individualization of this one. And I speak this word about our direction as spiritual community, that there is a vitality, there is a beautiful sense of something amazing happening here in, through, and as us. This thing called life, this thing called vision, new creation, new ideas, moving in us, through us, and as us, and also knowing there's another aspect of this, which is not only the evolution of the community as a whole in consciousness, the evolution of each and every one of us in consciousness as we align with this vision, that pull of the vision, and the understanding that there is no vision without provision, the all-providing nature of the divine, supporting us in each and every way. And so my heart is wide open, available, and ready to address, and I'm knowing all of us have the strength to address our fears and concerns. Bring them to the light of community. Bring them to the light of awareness, and use them to deepen our faith, to deepen our sense of certainty of this one all-providing source that is moving with us as we move through life together. And this beautiful safety net of love in which we live, move, and have our being, called the Center for Spiritual Living Delaware, beloved community. And so I rest in that truth with a heart open, with my mind open to the flow of divine inspiration when I continue to stay in the question of what is mine to do in all of this. I also am feeling so grateful in this moment to be speaking this word on behalf of this greater vision, on behalf of our evolutionary process together. And I release this word now to the action of universal law, standing firmly and strongly in the knowing, and this is where the certainty comes in, that universal law only knows yes, is taking this word and bringing it into amazing manifestation. And I invite us all to accept it with a powerful yes, and so it is. Thank you, my friends. Deb.